Crossland's foundation courses have been designed to make in-depth learning possible in a variety of contexts. That will include some where local leaders have the capacity to actively lead the learning journey, some where leaders may have very little capacity but still want to oversee and integrate what is being learned, and some where groups are learning together without a formal leader. Whatever your group situation, your course timetable can be set to suit the needs and commitments of your participants. But we encourage you to plan it in a way that allows a combination of both individual and group learning. This short video explains a bit of the thinking behind the way the courses have been put together and suggests how you can make the most of face-to-face time as a group, deepening and applying learning without the group leader or moderator having to prepare teaching or input for the group. A key idea behind the way we've designed these courses is that we want to enable a flipped classroom approach. This is an approach to learning where learners take in the core information in their own time and then spend face-to-face time deepening and applying their learning as a group. From our experience of designing adult learning, we know that the two different models of learning are slightly different, and together they can be very beneficial. As a leader, this means you can spend precious face-to-face time deepening your group's understanding, reflecting together on the implications of what has been learned, and helping everyone to apply the learning both to their own lives and to life together as a gospel community. There are two main elements to making this approach work well. Firstly, setting and tracking a manageable schedule for individual learning. Each foundation course consists of 9 units. Each unit takes approximately 1.5 to 2 hours for a learner to complete, depending on their familiarity with the topic and their learning style. In many settings, a learning group will aim to complete 1 unit per week, but you can choose to go faster or slower depending on how busy your group members are and how often you want to meet up with your group to review and apply learning. Group moderators can use the learning platform to set dates for completion of different units. There's also the option to use the platform to send reminders that a given step is due for completion. Moderators can also see where different group members are up to and send messages to check in on anyone who seems to be struggling and falling behind. If you need help with the moderator and scheduling tools, you can email us for help. Second, leading engaging and impactful group sessions. Local leaders can decide whether they want the group to meet up to review each unit separately or to meet to review 2 or 3 units at a time. But we do encourage you to include some element of group dialogue as you go through the course. Some groups meet weekly, others monthly, some much less often. One approach that works for some churches is to meet monthly to review 3 units at a time. For example, weeks 1 to 3 are allocated for self-study, week 4 there's a group meeting but no self-study, and so on, so a 9-unit course is completed over about 3 months. Having decided how often to meet, leaders then need to decide how best to use their time together as a group. This can be a little challenging for those who are accustomed to a model where training has tended to mean a leader teaching up front to deliver content. A flipped classroom approach can leave us wondering how to use our group time well, but a well-structured, dialogic approach can be very rich and fruitful. Here's a simple session outline you can use or adapt for group sessions. Recalling, reflecting, reaching further, responding, and prayer. Let's have a look at that in a bit more detail. Firstly, recalling. This might be where you invite people to explain some of the key ideas in their own words. This will often lead to a good discussion on important truths that are valuable to explore. Have we all understood this concept and why this matters, for example? Your preparation might include thinking about what concepts you want to make sure people have remembered and understood. Second, reflecting. Taking a selection of the reflection and/or discussion questions that people have worked through during the unit of study and asking them to discuss together. We've discovered with our seminary students that there's a different value in answering a question for oneself in private compared with discussing it with others. Both add value. Preparation for this might include which reflection and discussion questions are most relevant or important to reflect on in terms of your context. Third, reaching further. What questions does it leave people wanting to explore further? Who could you ask, or what could you read to help individually or as a group? Preparation for this might include thinking about an open question for the group to discuss. As a leader, you may want to have 2 or 3 areas where you think it's important for the group to explore further, perhaps with suggested resources, a book or an article to read, or a speaker to invite. Fourth, responding, or the so what questions. What are the implications of what we've been learning, for individuals or for us as a community? What would you like to stop or start or do differently? Is there a prayer which you're going to be praying in response to this? A conversation you might need to initiate or to approach differently in the light of the learning? Is there a habit you want to try and form, or something further to read, or a way of thinking you need to change, or some pattern in your life you want to adjust? Preparation for this might involve having some of your own suggestions ready, both at a personal level — leaders are always learners after all — and in relation to communal life. But make sure you begin this part of the session by allowing group members to share the ways in which they have been encouraged, challenged, or emboldened. Fifth, prayer. All of the items just covered give you rich and practical areas to pray through together as the session closes. We're so excited to have produced these tools, and will continue to pray for your church family as this material comes to life in surprising ways. We look forward to hearing from you.